Welcome to Master the Game. I am Juice, and today I am talking about my 2019 in review per se. So, let's get started. So 2019 was an up and down kind of year for me. When the year started, I had really high hopes. In fact, going into it, I had really high hopes. We had just moved back to the west side of Michigan from southeastern Michigan, and we had got this house. Now, when we moved in, this room was not finished. It was a very dark room with a skylight that had leaked water into here. And so we redid the whole roof, which I had to wait to do everything in here until the roof was done due to the water leaking. And that took a lot longer than we expected. We were hoping to have everything done by March in this room. Unfortunately, the roof didn't get done till like late April, early May. And then we waited to order everything because when we ordered everything, it was going to take up the garage. So by the time we finished this room, I think it was like July or August. And when we finished, I also noticed very quickly that the internet was no good out here. I should have tested it earlier. I didn't. Forced us to have an electrician come out, run a line out here. We also had to figure out that my laptop was no good for streaming, which I was planning on streaming my Forgotten Throne game, my Friday game, and some other games. And so all of this just had to get a new laptop. So everything was just halted. We were having a lot of problems with recording videos because the old laptop couldn't handle it. So that was the first 3/4 of the year almost, Once we got to doing videos, things were going really well. I was recording a lot of videos, was very motivated. However, the videos I was doing were on topics that I had planned in late 2018. So we're talking about videos I had planned and didn't actually get to record until about a year later almost. This was a problem because a lot of the stuff I wanted to talk about in these videos I had forgotten over that time, didn't take good enough notes, didn't script it well enough, and things like that. So some of the videos did not come out how I had intended. They're still good. A lot of them I still think are really good. Some are better than others, though. It's hard to plan something and do it a year later. It's just not the way to do it. Now, that doesn't mean that the content can't be good or any of that. So when I started doing this, I also started realizing there were certain things that I had gone rusty on. I hadn't DM'd a game in a long time at that point. And so DMing games, all of a sudden it was like, wow, how did I used to do that? Why am I struggling right now to come up with ideas for this or that? And I decided I needed to get back to the basics a little bit for myself. And it's weird because DMing has always seemed very natural to me. I've always felt like, okay, I can do this. Improv was never really a problem for me. And for some reason, I was drawing blanks on names. I think I was overthinking it. When someone would ask me, what's this character's name? Rather than give just a generic answer like Bob, I would be like, no, that's no good. And I'm sitting there in my head thinking, no, I got to come up with a really good name right now. I don't know why. But that's what I did. But one of the things I used to do is I used to make a list of names. So again, all this stuff also used to be in my DM binder or my GM binder. And so I decided I need to redo that. I haven't finished it, but I've started putting some things in there and getting back to try and use that in prep. The other thing I've always done is I've had campaign binders. So usually it's a folder with not 3 rings, but the little metal tabs that you can stick clear sheets in there and stuff. I've always done that for a campaign. Well, I'm starting to get back to doing that. And that helps me keep track of my notes and stuff like that. I've been trying to do more paperless and use Google Docs a little more. For me, that's not as intuitive. It's hard still to find some things. So I got to work on that a little. And I know people will save the docs into their folders and stuff like that, and access them through there. So maybe that's what I need to do a little better at. So with all this, though, we had some minor crisis, a few minor crises, around here. My wife's back went out. She struggled to lift things. She couldn't lift our baby up and things like that. So I, for about 2 or 3 weeks, was kind of doing all of that for her, which then we had to pay for physical therapy, and the prices added up quick on that. Then we had a heating issue where our furnace didn't work. Found out a mouse had climbed in the exhaust vent and gotten caught in like a fan or something and killed the furnace. And then found out it wasn't vented properly, so had to have them come back out a week later after we didn't have heat in 50-degree weather. And it was the first 50-degree weather we had, so we all were freezing. And so yeah, that took a week for them to come out and fix that. And then we had a plumbing issue after that. It was just continuous, So we just were always dealing with this, which made me less concerned about videos. And so it halted my progress on a lot of things. It's taken a minute to get back to it. And so that's what I'm hoping in 2020 to do, is to get back into that. Through all this, I also felt like I was dealing with a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of depression, being cooped up a lot and not getting a lot of social interaction. And, I learned a lot about myself in this time, how to handle these things, because I think I've had this for a couple of years, but I did not realize it, or I was in denial. I'm not really sure. But this year I realized, I sometimes go into these, I call them funks. I've always called them a little funks, where I just want to be left alone and do whatever I want to do and not interact with a lot of people. I go insular. And I think that's because I'm more of a social introvert. Like I'll go and socialize and be extremely outgoing for a day or 2 or 3. But then after that, I go, like I said, I go insular, and I don't want to interact with a lot of people for a few days. And that's just kind of how I am. I've always been that way, where I like to have a couple days a week or a couple nights, evenings, where I just do my own thing. YouTube actually is a good release for that, because, for example, right now I'm in a room by myself talking to a camera. This has always been a good way for me to do that, and to, hey, I'm going to go do some videos, and then I go off and do my own thing by myself. So, again, this is something I can fill that time with. Now, video editing and stuff. I got that new computer, and I used to do all my graphics on a very old 10-year-old laptop, 9-year-old laptop at the time. And the problem was I was running Photoshop CS5 on a laptop that could not handle it. And like I said, it was about 9 years old. So it took forever. Like, I can't tell you how many times I would import a picture and it would just drag. Like, it would come screeching to a halt, sometimes crash. And that, it wasn't effective. It would take way too long. Now, like, to do little thumbnails and things like that is really quick. I'm still learning because Photoshop has changed a little. And in general, I just didn't know all the tools exactly. But I'm still learning that. And I switched from using Sony Vegas on a 6-year-old laptop to now using Adobe Premiere. And I have all the other stuff, because I have the Adobe Cloud, Creative Cloud. And I want to learn it all. I want to figure out how to use all the tools involved, or not necessarily all of it, but all the stuff that's relevant to doing videos and things like that. So 2020 is going to be a good year for me when it comes to learning new software. And I like that. I enjoy learning new things. The big thing I notice is it works completely different than what I'm used to. I'm used to being able to pull videos in and overlap them, and it doesn't cause a problem. Whereas when you do it with Premiere, it cuts video and messes things up quite a bit. So that's been some of the biggest of the biggest part of the learning curve for me. And it's halted some videos because I've gotten frustrated and been like, I need to step away for a day. But again, I've learned about myself that I need to batch video record. I need to batch edit. So you're going to see me putting out a series of videos over the course of a month or two where I look like I'm wearing the same clothes every day. That's because I filmed it all in the same day. And then I edit it over the next week or two. And then schedule my videos out. No more am I going to film 4 videos and put 4 videos up in a week. That's not the plan. I'm going to film 4 videos, put them out over 4 weeks. And then if somehow in that 4 weeks I film another 4 videos, I will probably either piggyback it on or input them throughout there, depending on what the video is about. There might be videos where it's like something happens today and I'm going to do a video about it right now and get it up today because it's extremely time sensitive and important to have it out that day. Maybe an Unearthed Arcana is released and I'm extremely excited about it, so I do a video on it that day and put it up the next morning or something. That's still going to happen at times. Not that I've done that recently, but I've wanted to. So yeah, that's something I learned. I got to batch, record, and edit. Now, the other thing I've learned is I tend to overstretch myself. I say yes to a lot of things, and I need to stop doing that. I need to take time to think about if I can do it before I commit to something. Whether that's volunteering for a role, involved in something, or running games. I currently am running 2 weekly games. I run a monthly game, and I think I've reached full bandwidth when it comes to that. But I think I'm going to cut back my Friday game to monthly for many reasons. One, I think the group that we have, I think sometimes, we have a hard time getting everyone on the same page to play. And I'm hoping by reducing that schedule, it makes it easier for everybody. I think we have some other people in there who are similar to me at times where they just don't feel up for running or playing a game because they're stressed out, have too much going on in their life. And so I'm hoping by reducing that, it makes it easier for all of us to play on time. We've had a few games. We were supposed to play weekly. We've played on average once a month right now. And so hopefully this will fix that. If it doesn't, I don't know what I'm going to do. Because I like playing with these guys. I enjoy it a lot. Prepping for a weekly game, though, twice a week is very difficult for me. And it's difficult because I have a lot of commitments. I have 3 small children, a wife. I do these videos, and the idea was always that during the day when I'm home with the kids, because I'm pretty much stay-at-home dad right now, looking for a job. But being a stay-at-home dad, I was like, I'll have time during the day to do it, and it's just not the case. I have a soon-to-be 5-year-old, and I have a 1-year-old. And the 1-year-old obviously takes up the most time there, with having to feed him every couple hours, change diapers, keep him entertained. He does not like it if you're on a laptop. He just does not like it. He wants your attention. And he deserves it. He's a baby. So, and then on top of that, my 4-year-old craves some attention because I'm giving so much to the 1-year-old. So I just can't prep the way I thought I'd be able to going into all this. So that's how that will be impacted. And we'll see how it goes. I'm still going to have Descent into Avernus once a month. We've got that planned over the next few months. I'm going to get that scheduled out probably through the summer here very soon. And we've got the family game that my wife runs. That's easy for me because I'm just a player, so I don't have to prep anything really. But yeah, so 2020 is going to be, especially early on, a little bit more finding myself with how to do everything I want to do and make it work. 2019 was getting the baseline and figuring out what didn't work, really. And that's okay. like I said, I learned a lot about myself. I think I learned a lot about what I want and need to do. And I think it's going to carry over into 2020 in a very positive way. The plan in 2020 is to still do 2 videos a week and then also upload the live plays 2 days after they are on Twitch. Which, if you're not on my Twitch yet, get over there. We are growing pretty quickly. In just like 2.5 months, we've gained 130 followers. We've got a subscriber or two. And like I said, it's going really well. We've got the Wednesday game. There's going to be nights where I just randomly jump on and do some mini painting, I think, with my wife, Paula. And I think we're going to do our Sunday thing where we basically are just talking on camera to you guys where you can interact with us. So that's the plan. I've thought about dabbling in producing games for people who don't necessarily have things to run online games, who want to run online games. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to join our Discord. Let me know. I could set it up through my Zoom, and we can throw it up on Twitch if you want to do that. And yeah. So anyways, this was Master the Game. I am Juice. Be sure to hammer that like button, smash that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time. Game on.